is amazing. Oh, it's clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Water.
For the first time here for season 3. Davis on pole, Vandergren in second. It's going to be sprint round action here tonight. Let's go racing here at Daytona. It was a good start there from Davis in comparison to Vandergren in behind. Cowan's absolutely bogged it up and already dropped out of the top 3 here as they come down towards turn 1 for the first time. There's biffing and barging between Gallen and Cowan. These guys are still going at it after last season. They survived for this time by though. Through turn 2 and 3 they come. Nice and clean, boys. Keep it up as they come up to...
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannon's insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride, whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride.
ride with Shannon's.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Through turn 1, it was a horrible start from De Bono, who's absolutely bogged it up and gets eaten alive by Dixon and Gowans as they come on through. Through turn 1 they come, and they all spread out around in towards the first sector of the Silverstone circuit. They look all right at the moment. Okay, there's already been a car spun round. That's Jordan Ferguson offline.
Is green, green, green at Road Atlanta here as well. Faulkner did get away. De Bono is tucked in as well. Unfortunately, Houghton is on that outside line. De Bono does want to tell him to do. He's got the job. De Bono's overtaken. Now can he get Ben Faulkner up through turns for 2 and 3? They go round the right-hander, dropping down the hill. Faulkner's out in front. De Bono second. Houghton third. Ratcliffe in fourth. No real dramas going into turn 1.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannon's,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
amazing. It's clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tannock and Jamie Dyson just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he could have just sent it up the inside, but he hasn't committed, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's see if we get a good run. Dodd's just absolutely competitive. Really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SRW TV, and welcome in to the MOZA Racing Super Formula Championship here for round 8 of season 1 of 2025, out at Homestead Miami Speedway this evening for road course A for the Super Formula Championship in sprint round action. I forgot to change the round number on the graphics. Let's quickly fix that up. It is not round 5, it is round 8. I'm your commentator, Hamish Munro, joined as always this week by Jack Anderson. Jack Oz. A tough circuit for these drivers here this evening. Plenty of complaints already coming from it, but it's one that will be, I think, a major test in the final droppable round of the season. They at least have that lifeline of it being a droppable round, where then we'll come ahead next week at Suzuka, where it's non-droppable. So a good test for them. I'm excited. It's my personal favourite Roval course on iRacing, but I think it's going to be a good test nonetheless.
You're wrong on that one. It's definitely not my favourite Roval, but I do enjoy it, the challenge of this track. I personally haven't driven it for a very long time, maybe our Forza days back with our V8 series back then, but no, it's a very nice track to drive in certain cars. These ones, I'm not so sure, just because of the last chicane coming back onto the main straight. There's a unsettling for some drivers in practice have ended up in the wall or ended up breaking wheels, and it's going to be a tough one out there. We'll see if people decide to take an alternate line to maybe sacrifice a bit of speed and save the car a little bit, or whether they just go all out for speed. So yeah.
Well, I think one of the bigger tests tonight, I mean, this Roval is, it obviously, it has its own little nuances. It has those classic issues that we can find at a circuit like this. The different composites that are the surface of this track, the tarmac, the concrete, and then the tarmac concrete composite between it. All that's going to come together, though, in quite a devilish little cocktail, because you match that with the fact that we're currently sitting at 47 degrees track temp here in the Miami sun. And you have a feeling, Jackos, that especially in the 40-minute race, tyres may end up having a screaming serial killer-esque death. And we may actually see quite a lot of chaos come off the back of that too, because of course the hotter the track is, the less grip you have, a lot more chaos that can then ensue off of that too. Not likely going to get very much rain this evening, so I think the real struggle is going to be dealing with that track temp across those 3 different composites of the surface here at Miami.
Yeah, did someone say the floor is lava, Hamish?
Yeah,
it's definitely a tough one on tyres around here with the not only the heat, but you've got the fast-paced corner that you can see where they come off the banking or off the main bit of the ovals and go onto the infield. It is a high load going into those corners, so it's definitely a tough one on the tyres, and I'm sure that you'll see drivers taking tyres each time they take a stop.
Tough on tyres, tough on the mind. And I think as well, just tough on the, almost on the body completely. I mean, it's one that will test them, the change of directions, the amount of pace you take through certain corners, how hard you can battle around here. Those are going to be some of those big factors that we look at tonight. And we think about what are going to be the real tests. You know, you look at it, if we compare it to other road courses or Roval road courses, you compare this to an Indianapolis road course, or we're both personally fans of the 2009 variant of that road course, but the regular road course, it more or less, it tests you towards the back end of the circuit. The first half of the circuit, it doesn't really test you too much. You then look at Daytona. People have done enough laps around Daytona, you can drive it blind pretty much. You don't feel too much of a test. It's just getting used to the car setup and track combination. And then you look at Charlotte Roval. Charvel. It's the new name for it, Charvel. You look at Charlotte Roval, and it's one that, depending on the layout, will test you. But then also, depending on the layout, it won't test you too much as well. So it comes down to a bit of a balancing act. I think with this place, because it doesn't get used too often, I think whenever you come here, it tests you. And I think even no matter how many laps you do around here as well, it's one that will always test you in some little form or fashion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've seen in the chat already, Doug Gowan saying, see how many people overdrive the track. It is very easy to overdrive both the car and the track alone.
Yep.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top this week.
And that's one of the little nuances that I like about it, is that you've got to find that little balancing act of trying not to overdrive, trying to almost keep yourself contained in a sense and actually just let the track come to you. It can really fuel you with a little sense of almost too much self-belief the more you attack it and the more pace you find. And it is a track where I think if you bring a little bit more nuance with you, be a little bit more stoic and calculated, you will reap the benefits of it. So we'll see how it works out tonight. I think the more that they overdrive it, the worse they're going to be, obviously, because the worse they're going to ruin those tyres on this very, very hot circuit here in Florida. But I don't know. I'm excited, Jackals. I mean, it's a track that I love to watch racing at across both of the different layouts for the road course, and I think it's going to be one that's going to be pretty special tonight. But qualifying's underway. Drivers are out on track for the first time here this evening for qualifying. As I mentioned, we have a sprint round format tonight, a 20-minute heat and a 40-minute feature. So qualifying will get cut off at the 15 minutes, meaning that they must finish a lap before the 15 minutes has concluded. And I'm glad that we were just focused on the final corner. Then I'm going to find a driver who's not quite there. Andrew Martin is one of them. Depending on how drivers have got their iRacing set up tonight, Jackos, depending on their graphics settings, there is something at the final corner that they may or may not see. And that thing is a little tyre bundle on the inside of the final corner. So as Andrew comes through, we'll just quickly pause it right there. That little tyre bundle does not show up on a certain level of graphics settings. And for those that may have them set to really low, they won't see them, but they can still hit them. So for those who've got it really low, may try and cut that corner, may try and cut a little bit too hard, hit that tyre bundle, and then wonder, how in the hell did I get a meatball flag?
Yeah, and you'd wonder what bites harder around here, Hamish, the tyre bundle or the gators. So it's got to be interesting to see if anyone does have their graphics turned down enough that it doesn't show up for them, and someone may believe or not believe the spotter call, the rally where it's tight left, don't cut. They might decide to try and cut to get a little gain and end up with a bit of a disabled car. So
could easily happen. Could easily happen. So just quickly here, as qualifying happens, we're just going to cut away from the timing just for a moment, because we need to quickly run through the championship standings. Importantly, at this stage, for the back end of the top 20 Jackals, of course, P20 at the moment, Brad Hudson, admin of this series for a long time, has never had the opportunity to race in the OWN. He's been in the comms box previously. He needs to try and get a good finish here tonight, try and fight his way forward to get his way further up in the order. But on the bubble at the moment, realistically, it's from P16 down to probably of about, we could even say P28. Or even further, Sheafy and Kurt Heath are close enough to Matt Fu that they could even easily get up there. So I think for these 14 drivers, it's a tough night. It's a tough night at the office, but it's a tough last couple of weeks because they've got to fight to get into that top 20 to try and get into the AOWN at the end of the season between SRW and the GSRC. At the top end of the title race, though, Josh King leads the AM class at the moment, P13 on 648 points. For the Pro-Ams, it's pretty tightly contested. Nick Martin leads that race by 4 points over Ben Brook. And then a further, 46 points over Callum Rosanita, who's back in P9 in the championship. And I think the thing that's been opened up and unlocked a little bit since Saxon Ring last week is Doug Gowans now is in this championship fight with Giuliano Sinise and Danny Davidson. And if he can have another solid run here tonight, and he can kind of hope that Danny Davidson has another poor run, all of a sudden he's back within the hunt and he's back within the fight for this championship battle leading into Suzuka.
Yeah, 100%. It's blown wide open, and as we've seen last week, or even at Barber, you see it can change in the blink of an eye. And we saw Mazzaroli obviously against the pit wall in Barber, and that was at no fault of his own. Your championship can literally just, as I said, change in a blink of an eye. So it's wide open.
It can flip on its head like a coin. You know, like a coin toss, it can just flip on its head pretty easily.
Like ray gun.
Yeah, like. No, she had to put a lot of effort into flipping on her head. Definitely had to put a lot of effort in. Interesting enough, Jamie Davis is out there for the first time in a long while this season. Let's see if we update his paints. If Project 36 have actually provided him with one at this point. Where is Harry Dodds? He's not in the field, so we can't check his car. Danny Davison goes top, though, at this stage, at 1:15.24 at the moment. Top four of this race, the current top four in the championship, or the current top four in qualifying, sorry. Current top four in the championship for Davison, De Bono, Sinise, and Gowans as well. What does Nick Martin have to do tonight? I mean, obviously he has to beat Ben Brook, try and extend his championship lead in the Pro-Ams. But realistically, does he just have to run a clean race over this week and next week as well at Suzuka?
Yeah, basically, you just got to keep it clean and be consistently up there, and you'll be in with a great chance. That's all he can really ask for. Is a trouble-free week. He unfortunately had a couple of incidents in the last couple of weeks, but no, he just needs to buckle down and hope that he has a smooth sailing for the next couple of weeks. Take a page out of Jason Depp or Captain Depp's book, and have a bit of smooth sailing.
You've got to try and be a smooth operator as best as you can in the last 2 rounds. And I think it's going to come down to just racing your race, not trying to race to the championship. Just driving your drive and doing what you've done all season. And you should reap the benefits of that come the end. Matt Gerard has got some immense pace out of the Velocity SimLabs car, crosses the line with 2 purple sectors, goes P2 with a 1:15.33, thanks to a tow from Nick Martin down the straight. So that's helped him out just a little bit to get that car further and further up the order. So Denise, De Bono, Mazzaroli, Gowans and Oliver will all be kicking themselves after that moment there for Gerard to get up to P2. But Nick, realistically, he needs to find some pace. He's back in P22 at the moment. And Ben Brooks all the way up in P9. I mean, that's a massive chunk of points. If the race were to finish where they are right now, P9, P22, it's a massive chunk of points for him to give up to Ben Brook. It's 26 points that he'd be giving up to his closest championship competitor.
Yeah, it is, definitely. And I've seen 2 cars spin out on the last corner there.
That's the X factor, though. That final corner is the X factor. It doesn't matter where you are. Anyone can have a spin at that final quarter. That's going to be the ticket tonight, I think.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen a couple of drivers taking an alternate line through there, and rather than going over the bump, they sacrifice a little bit of speed and go onto the banking a little bit later to lessen the bump.
I think from memory, last time I drove this track, you run a tighter line through the last corner, and you kind of stay on the left-hand side of that white line until the painted area, and then you start to move back across. The issue with that is if someone tries to go past you after they've hit the bump, and then you've got nowhere to go. So that's the main test the driver's going to have to be cautious of, but I think it is the smarter line come race time. Obviously, you want to try and maximise your lap time in qualifying, but I think race time, you're trying to maximise not making mistakes. And running that line is probably the smarter move than running the bump to get a little, maybe not even a tenth faster.
Yeah, exactly. And you risk damaging the bottom of the car as well.
That's right.
And even ending up on the wall. You see that? It's just so harsh. It literally jumps off the ground to get onto the banking a little bit.
Yeah.
So I know that a lot of drivers would prefer just eking out that little tenth or so, but in a race setting, you might see a couple of drivers maybe taking a little bit of an alternate line.
Danny Davidson has now gone fastest with a 1:15.05. De Bono P2, 1:15.31. at this stage. We are 2/3 through qualifying, 9.5 minutes into it at the moment out of the 15. We've got a heap of chats out there already tonight. Jace Douglas out there, Steph McCauley, Doug Gowans, you mentioned Brad Hayes as well. Greg Johnson joining us from on board the Shinkansen, doing 295 kilometres per hour on the bullet train. I'm going to assume in Japan for Greg Johnston. And in comparison to the top-end pace of these cars, well, he's doing about 80 kilometres more than they are on track right now.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous how fast the trains over there can go.
I mean,
it'd be nice to have the V-line.
If we had a bullet train here, you could probably get from, well, how long would the V-line take from Melbourne to Geelong, Jack? Maybe an hour?
It takes an hour and 5 minutes to get to Southern Cross from Geelong.
So probably half an hour on a bullet train?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shinkansen, thank you, John. I am ill at the moment. I would normally try and maximise pronunciation, try and do it as close as I can. But yeah, I've got a cold at the moment, and give me some slack, please. I beg. Danny Davidson though, they're 1:15 dead. Do we think anyone can get into the 14s in qualifying here, Jackos? Because I think the closest that's going to be is probably De Bono or Gerard at this stage. I don't know if anyone's able to match that pace at the moment of Davidson.
Yeah, it is pretty hot out there, as we touched on a bit earlier. So the cloud cover's not. It doesn't seem like there's many clouds at all.
It's gotten worse, actually. It's now 48 degrees track temp, so
yeah, so it's going to start to be a little bit harder to get a lap time, maybe unless they get a tow or anything like that, and it might help. But you'll be hard pressed to find people without it, especially Danny Davison.
He's gone even faster, and he's gone into the 14. It's a 14.999.
999.
I mean, does Danny just want to not do that to anyone out there? Oh, what's happened? We've had a blink.
Oh, you're right. It blinked for you, but yeah.
Cool. I'm worried there for a second.
Yeah, what I was saying, which he completely proved me wrong while I was explaining it, but you'd be hard pressed to find Danny Davidson in his position to have a teammate, since he is a privateer, to kind of drag him along willfully, to give him that little extra tenth or so. But yeah, that's one of the good things about having a teammate. You can see some of these Velocity Sim Labs boys driving one behind another, and just giving each other a little bit of a tow down the straights and things, just a little bit of a hand, which is it's nice to have.
Yeah, I think it's it's one of those things. It's the benefit of being in a team, isn't it? That's the benefit of being in that position. Realistically, as Mazzaroli sets the fastest time in the last sector, goes P4. As Cowie's had a bit of a spin. We do have to mention we've got a couple of cameras set up tonight, as we normally would. Cowie is one of them, of course. So if we quickly drag that up, there we go. There's Cowie getting up to speed once again.
Taco.
The monster taco once again. I wonder if it's a beef and cheese taco or if it's got some chicken in there too. Had to get the reference out there. Had to get it out.
I knew you would bring food into this.
I love food. I'm a fat boy. Leave me alone. Cal Rosanita as well has also got his virtual cam going once again. Not digging for gold at this stage, but maybe digging for an opportunity at a championship, possibly, if he can get a strong run here tonight. His championship cohort, as well as Andrew. So Nick and Andrew Martin racing together once again in the side-by-side rigs with the camera angle, showing them both off in the Get a Grip cars. So there is Nick's car, and there is Andrew's car right there. So good to see those guys racing together. And as well, always, we have the double view happening too, so we can check out some other battles happening on track, as Brad Hudson has absolutely blown up the infield and had to run it off track. So that's unfortunate. For Hutto, that's qualifying done and dusted. Davidson's in pit lane as well. He doesn't think De Bono and Gerard can beat him, but this is their last chance to do so, and I'm not sure how the sectors are actually showing for them at the moment. Are they showing positive? It doesn't really seem like it, I must be honest, Jackos. I don't particularly know if they're actually going to be able to beat... Oh, they're definitely not now. They had a synchronised spin.
Synchronised.
Fair, you know what?
Oh, they parked it right next to each other, too.
Fair play. That's a 10 out of 10 synchronised swim from both of them there for the spin here in Miami, and that's qualifying done for both of them. Jordan Mazzaroli.
They would have got gold at the synchronised diving.
They definitely would have. Definitely would have. Greg Nelson in the chat saying, yes, in Japan this week. Just went through Okayama. Be back on track Tuesday night. Well, we look forward to having you back on track, Greg. Racing along with us as well as qualifying comes to an end. It's another pole position for Danny Davidson this season. He'll start alongside Dylan De Bono on the front row of the grid. Matt Gerard will start pole for the Pro-Ams in P3 alongside Jordan Mazzaroli. Alongside him, Mitch Noble will start just in behind Matt alongside Doug Gowans on the third row. Giuliano Sinise, Ray Oliver make up your top 8 with Josh King starting pole for the AMs. He's pretty much wrapped up that championship at this point. He just needs a solid performance here tonight, and he'll almost be insurmountable coming into Suzuka next week. He'll start alongside his former teammate, Jamie Davis, out of P10. Jason Depp, last week's first-time podium sitter for Velocity Racing Team, will start at a P11 alongside Ben Brook, who's currently P2 in the Pro-Am Championship at this stage. Nick Martin starts right in behind Ben Brook, so he found some pace at the end of quali and is now up to P13. That'll be an enticing battle for us to keep an eye on. He'll start alongside Mick Clifton on the 7th row of the grid. Matt Tesserier will make up the top 15, lining up alongside his teammate Callum Rosanita for your 8th row, with Brandon Levin, Andrew Cowan, Brad Hudson and Tyler Sheaf making up the top 20. Matt Fu, Andrew Martin will line up on the 11th row, just ahead of Nathan Verney and Andrew Proctor for your top 24 cars here this evening, with Tim Schmalenberg, Dean Singovich, Sean Benici, Kevin Wakefield, Kurt Heath and Stephen Singovich and Keegan Caldwell at the back end of the field. Keegan not setting a time, I don't think. I know he may have, but with barely any practice. We'll see how well Keegan can do. He hasn't been racing the last couple of weeks, Jack. Might be the wrong circuit to hop in at the last minute and have a crack. I don't know.
You always got to jump in for a bit of a crack. It'll still be a lot of fun nonetheless. So hope it goes well.
Yeah, he'll give it a good go. Gary mentioning it was the second from first down to 20th on the lap times. That's how close they were. That's ridiculous. Ridiculously close between P1 to P20, separated by a second. That is insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, that is like NASCAR levels of gap in terms of on-track racing. Like, a second would separate P1 to P20 in some NASCAR races, but to have that in qualifying is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. So we await everyone to join the grid. Mr. Simmons has put the oil at the first corner. I have a feeling that the last corner may be the oiled up spot here this evening. Mr. Simmons, it gives me a feeling in my loins that may be the area that we may see some spins early on. And I think it's going to be one that drivers are going to have to be cautious of all night, not just lap 1, but every single lap of Homestead Miami. As lights are up, revs are going to rise for the drivers further back in the field. Davison on pole, De Bono alongside. We're underway at Homestead for round 8 of the season and race 1 here this evening. It's a good start from the front runners down through turn 1. As they run up towards the braking zone at turn 2, it's going to be a scramble early on. We could find some carnage, as that's already a car round. That was Dean Sinkovich spun round with Sean Benici, so the oil's worked for Simmons with some cars already spun off track. But for De Bono, he has already rocketed past Danny Davison to the front of the field here, Jack Oz, and it's maximum pressure already.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty chaotic from the start, isn't it? So you're just seeing cars go 3 wide even. Oh, car 92.
Yeah, that's Jamie Davis. Yeah, so we're going to drive.
Unfortunate for Jamie. But yeah, 3 wide into turn 1's a bit wild, especially around here.
Oh, Cal Rosanita has had a big crash on the infield there. Car looks to be broken. Can he get it going again? That's the main question tonight. If we get these moments, are we going to see the Mercedes-AMG safety car out on track? And I think he might be calling for a tow. So this could be an early safety car if race control deemed that he's not in a safe position. He is on the track, though, as they come over the hump at the final corner. And they run down the straight. It's a drag race towards turn 1 for Davison and De Bono as they lead the way at the moment. Caldwell has not made the start of this race. Neither has Tyson McAvoy because he is race controlling here tonight. So we'll change that to 30. That's better. And Rosanita's been allowed to tow back to pit lane. So let's have a quick look at some of these early incidents here, Jack Oz, as you keep an eye on the Titanic Mr. Sinkovich further back in the field. And we'll find out what happened with some of these drivers. So the early one was Jamie Davis getting his jump start. And this was, pretty much right on the trot, right at the start of the race. So, oh yeah, that's a pretty big jump start from Jamie, I must say.
That's a flip of the leg.
Yeah, little similar, and he's just, he had to go for it at that point. You've already jumped, so you might as well keep going. This was then Sean Benici and Dean Sinkovich down through turn 1. Oh, so Dean started to lose it, and Sean was just a passenger at that point, had nowhere to go. It's an unfortunate moment for both of them. And then as we continue further around, Callum Rosanita as De Bono and Gerard, the teammates, have had a moment at the front. We'll keep an eye on that one in just a moment here. But what has happened? Oh, that was a big moment for Rosanita.
Got unloaded by the looks of that.
Did indeed.
And Matthew Koo also had a big moment as well. Someone's around on the last corner.
I think it might be Matt Gerard. So this was the moment at the final corner for Matt Gerard. So, got really unsettled. And De Bono had a spin too, but he got going again, and that's big damage there for Matthew Gerard. So some big moments early on in this race. As you can see, De Bono's already missing a wing. Josh King and Giuliano Sinise. Oh, sorry, Josh King and Matt Tesoriero battling here further back as the safety car is exiting pit lane.
What happened? Are you able to get maybe a replay of Matthew Fu? He had a, I think he got hit going into the fast corner going off the back bowl even before this.
Oh, so he ran it wide. Let's see if it was... Oh, yep, here we go. I found it. It was with Andrew Cowan. So this is what happened. This was... I had Andrew Martin on his inside. They were side by side. Never going to happen. I don't think Matt actually realised that Andrew was there.
We've got... I think it was Cowie spun around as well. I think yours.
Oh, yep.
Oh.
Just some big moments here early on in this race. Completely understand why race control has called the safety car as well. It's
Benito's got a lot of steering damage there.
He
He's having
does.
to repair the car. So luckily for him, he had a safety car to repair that. But yeah, that was a lot of steering damage. I don't know where he picked that up from.
Yeah, got to be honest. I don't think this is the track that you want steering damage at. I must say. I think it's one that you want your car to be at peak performance, as it is such a test. So it's one that throws out as many as you can get, and I think it's it's already proven to be a test for some drivers here tonight, as we suspected it would be. But 5 minutes in, the safety car's out on track. We never even gave a safety car prediction, Jackos, because we haven't had one for a couple of rounds. Do we think it's the only one we're going to see tonight? Or do you think we might see some more, possibly in the feature race after this one?
I definitely think there might be another one or two tonight. It's a very dangerous last corner, as we've seen multiple times tonight already. So anything can happen, and I reckon there'll be a bit more chaos as the races go on. Some minds might start to fade towards the end of the 40-minute race, and or get fatigued, I should say, not fade. But yeah, it's probably a given that it's going to be a at least one or two safety cars, in my opinion. I think there is a live timing.
Yeah, I'll just put it in there.
Wait,
I'll just put that up there. So that's the live timing that you guys can follow to stay with the timing. As Gerard's had to pull up at the end of pit lane to let the whole field pass. He has gone past the blue cone, but to be fair to him, he did pull it up. So I think it's fair enough. I don't think he deserves a penalty for going 20 metres too far, Jackals. I think, that should be okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a grey area, really. They might have maybe called it. I can't hear race control tonight, so they might have maybe called it as he's gone past or as he's about to go through the exit, didn't have time to stop. But I'm not sure. It's one of those things that it can happen. At least he stopped and waited for the field to go by, and rather than joining the field again. And like we had, I think it was last season, there was a bit of controversy with that in one of the rounds. So
yeah, that was of course Navarra.
Yeah, where a couple cars were able to pit and gain spots. So.
Yeah, very, very contentious that round. We don't talk about it too much here. If you want to know what happened, go back and watch it. It was season 4. I can't remember what round it was. I think it was round 7 of season 4.
You can find it here at
SRW TV.
TV.
You can find it. We're not going to link you to it, but you can definitely find it.
Make sure to subscribe if you want to find more and be kept in the loop for future broadcasts with future races, and make sure to like the video if you like what you see. It really helps out the channel and gets it out there with the algorithm.
Exactly right, and the more engagement we can get by that I mean subscribers, likes, comments, even getting into the live chat, watching us live, that helps us out a lot. As we get under green once again, Danny Davidson leads them away. Nope, we don't want that. Why has that just popped up? What the hell? Callum's... How the hell did I drag Callum's camera up there? Okay, fair enough. We're under green once again. I'll fix that. I have no idea how that's occurred. That's now fixed. All right. So, green flag once again. Danny Davidson leads the way. Jordan Mazzaroli, P2. Mitch Noble in P3. Doug Gowan's in P4 at the moment. So, for Giuliano Sinise, he's unfortunately right now giving up a couple more points to Gowans and Davidson than he would hope. But this is working out beautifully for Dougie. I mean, if he can get past Danny, gain some points on him, get that point, difference down to under 60, really going to put the pressure on Danny leading into the second race tonight, but then also the final round next week out at Suzuka. For Doug, I mean, he's been the master of the Bradbury in this series, Jackals. Could he Bradbury his way to a championship? That's the question. Could he Bradbury his way to his first championship in SFLs as a pro, as now an admin, to be the classic, when won the pony scenario? But could he do it?
It'd be interesting to see that happen. So I wouldn't be against it. Just seeing a Bradbury happen is always fun, and drive through penalty.
Drive through?
Somebody's been hit to drive through. I couldn't really hear it properly.
We'll see what race control should give us a message and tell us who it is. So wait for that confirmation. Mitch Noble, though, pulling off one of the passes of the night at turn 1 on Jordan Mazzaroli. Great effort from him. Now sits P2 on the road, P1 for the primes at the moment. Give you an update on the reverse grid situation with 10 minutes to go. Josh King currently sits P10. If he finishes where he is, he'll be provisional P1 for the next race this evening for the 40-minute feature as well. I believe the cones on the wall are the low-tech brake markers. Car 46 has been given a drive-through penalty for incident responsibility on lap 1. That is Brandon Levin. So unfortunately, Brandon Levin will now have to come through pit lane to serve that drive-through penalty. Of course, a Team SRW Motorsports car. So I think that might have been the moment possibly with Cal Rosanita that's caused him to have to come through the lane here, Jackals.
Yeah, quite possibly. Or we did see an incident on lap 1 a bit earlier, I believe, as well. So that could have also been it. Good to see, as you've just focused on him, good to see Sheepy back in the field. The one-handed bandit is back at it again. He's doing all right, just outside the top 10. I'm not...
Oh, Jamie Davis. Sorry to
there's a
interrupt.
lot of smoke back there.
There is. It's Jamie Davis and Kevin Wakefield.
Oh, and he's backed it into the wall too.
Oh, it's not good from the Project 36 driver. What's happened? Oh, he's caught the grass. Yeah, has it gripped up? Yep, it has. Oh, poor old Kevin, nowhere to go. Gave him a little sympathy kiss on the way through.
Yes.
Just a little smooch, as Jamie is struggling to get this car back to pit lane, as Cal Rosanita's had a moment again. It's another spin at the entry to the back end of the circuit. So what's happened down here to the re-entry to the bowl? He's dealing with Hutto just blinking out of existence, and
he's just lost the rear.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of cooked tyres on the back, and yeah, super easy to do. Have we had another spin on the last?
Yeah, that was
corner?
Andrew Martin. He just got going again. We won't replay it to save the embarrassment. Yeah, he's had a moment at the final corner and just kept it going. Didn't hit the wall, it seems, so he had no damage on that car. Just getting it back up to speed as
Eilenberg.
Where is he? There he is there. So these hot track temps are really starting to affect the drivers now, Jackos. The tyre wear is immense at the moment. The current track temp is 48 degrees. Oh, I think race 2, we're going to be in for some spice. I think we're going to be in for some major spins. Difficulty to keep the tyres in check. I think, Jackos, personally, race 2 during pit stops, they're going to take tyres. I feel like you're going to have to, just based on the track temps alone.
Yeah, 100% you would have to. I believe it was maybe, I think the tyres might have even been 40-something%, where 40 to 50% after like 9 or so laps. So you're definitely going to have to pit no matter what, I reckon.
Yeah, I think, I mean, they'll have to pit for fuel, no doubt, but I think this will be one of those scenarios where those that take tyres are going to reap the benefits. Very similarly to Aragon last season, where Phil Vella fought from the back of the field to the front of the field by taking tyres under his pit stop. So he gave up some track position. Pretty much, Steph, yeah, it's like racing on ice with slicks. So, but yeah, we saw Phil Vella pull off a miracle podium after starting at the back of the field by coming in and taking tyres at a very, very hot Aragon circuit, which eats up tyres anyway, even without it being a hot track. And I think tonight is a very similar scenario. So we may actually watch that play out in real time once again. We are 14 minutes into this race, 6 minutes to go in race 1. Drivers are still struggling in the background with some of those little half-spin actions as Mick Clifton tries to chase down Giuliano Sinise. He's currently down 5 spots in this race, but not a bad comeback there for Giuliano to get back up to P12. I think his aim at the moment, Jack Oz, would be Josh King in P10 to get that pole position for race 2, surely.
Yeah, that would definitely be the goal. So then it makes your race for race 2 a lot easier if you are able to start from the pole and just hold off the rest of the field as best as you can. We've had, I think it was Jamie Davis may have been off in the outfield. He's rejoined, but it just seems like this track is definitely challenging a lot of drivers out there tonight, especially with the heat. As Steph said, it is like driving on ice with slicks, and unfortunately iRacing don't have studded tyres at the moment.
It's even worse in these on the infield where the surface is more or less that concrete and tarmac composite, because that stuff is slick as anything. But you add hot track temps with it too, slick tires. It literally feels like pure ice. You feel like you have no grip at any point. So for these drivers, they're in at the deep end and they're in for a massive test here this evening. I mean, with the 40-minute race to come up, that's going to be the bigger test, having to go so long on these sets of tyres. I think, as we mentioned, we're more than likely going to see pit stops where they not only take fuel, they take the tyres too. Mitch Noble is now under pressure from Jordan Mazzaroli once again. with 4 minutes left. Jordan Mazzaroli set the fast side of the race, actually a 1:15 dead the last time by for Jordan Mazzaroli. So he's starting to put the pressure down on Mitch. Smart play from Mitch here. Does he just let him go, do we think, Jackos? And I mean, I know he likes to race, but you got to think about where can you end up for race 2 if you end up having a crash right now in this one.
Oh, as you've put the Mickey on it, the mocker on him, Hamish, I reckon. I was going to say that you pumped up his stock,
I think that so two possibilities here. This is deliberate to make me look bad, and he's listening along, and he's like, "I'm just going to have a spin." Or
he wants a better start with the second race.
He does. He wants P10 to get the pole position again. That's what he wants now.
I was going to mention that if I was in his shoes, I would still try and keep the position, but then if I wouldn't battle too hard. If Mazzaroli sent it up the inside or looked like he was overly quick and I was losing it both times, then I would let him go.
It's not the be all end.
Oh, he hit the curb.
Was that the inside curb or the?
Yeah, he hit the tyre barriers.
I don't reckon he saw them. I don't think he has the graphics turned up and he did not see the tyres.
Turn left, don't cut. That is striked again.
Oh my God! It has. I don't think he's got them turned on. So unfortunately for Mitch W, you can't blame that one on me, Jackos. That was completely self-inflicted. We'll blame it on Sinker instead.
Blame the first one on you.
Oh, that's fine. But what this has now meant is Giuliano Sinise is now up to P10 with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go, which means if he finishes where he is pole position of race 2, Jackos. And that's going to have big championship implications if Danny Davison and Doug Gowans get into the wars in race 2 and Mazzaroli ends up running away with things and gets a win next to his name. This could play out magically for Giuliano leading into Suzuka next week. This could be the play now.
Yeah, and you can never count out any of those boys of making their way through the field. Like the Bono is slowly making his way back. He's currently in 13th, but it could be a massive swing in the championship for going into the last round. And of course, the last round is undroppable, so it could really spice up things.
You may even try and go for the pass here on Josh King and just try and take P9, get those extra points, still have the front row start for race number 2. That might even be the better play because you give up less points to Davidson. You still have front row, you just don't have pole. So it may be worth it, as he's going to try and go for it, it seems. Mitch Noble doing Mitch Noble things from Andrew in the chat. Oh, yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying nothing, but it seemed like a Mitch Noble move, to be honest with you. Just one of those things.
Textbook pass there by
absolute vintage Sinise then up the inside.
Great sense of mind from Josh King there to just give him the room, let him pass, and get that P10.
Absolute plaudits to Josh King. This guy has smartened up so much on the track, Jackos. There's a reason why he leads the AM Championship by so much. It's not just pure pace. It's the combination of his pure pace mixed with how good his racecraft has gotten here on Wednesday nights. And he is eating it up. Final lap of the race, though. White flag is flown from Barney. So we got one to go. But biggest plaudits have to go to Josh King. He has upped his game massively. Mitch has said he had the... Okay, well, Mitch has made it even worse for himself. I tried to give him a lifeline for hitting the tyres, Jackos, by claiming he may have had the graphics turned down. Apparently they're on max. So, you know what, Mitch? You get no saving grace because of that one, as Cal Rosanita has cooked the car on the main straight. And he's been allowed to tow back to
a heavy bill for me, I'm sure, in between races.
Yeah.
Might have to bring out a new chassis for him next week.
That's a tough bill to fit, Jackals, I must say. So, Danny Davidson, round through the final couple of corners now. Looks to take another win on the trot this season for himself and extend his championship lead in towards race 2 here this evening. He takes the win in race number 1 across the line At Homestead Miami, Jordan Mazzaroli comes home P2. Doug Gowans in P3. Ray Oliver an impressive P4. Nick Martin takes the Pro-Am win ahead of Ben Brooks, so he extends his Pro-Am championship lead with Jason Depp on that podium as well. Giuliano Sinise home in P9. Tessariero did well to get inside the 10, and Josh King comes home P10 on the road, but crucially, provisional pole position for race number 2.
Or someone's crashed going into the last. I think it may have been Davis.
I just saw Doug Gowans had it. Oh, he's kept going though.
Oh, apologies to Davis. It definitely wasn't him.
Was it Cowie?
It would have possibly been Cowie. It was going into the last corner, so.
Well, here's the Cal Rosanita one on the second to last lap. Oh, big bump. And into the wall. So that's unfortunate for Cal for that to happen to him. But the final drivers are now across the line. Got a little 5-minute warm-up session to come your way now. I'm going to take this time to have a quick little clearing of my nostrils. Mitch's claiming it's because I had the camera on him and he got shy. That's not my fault, Mitch. You need to learn to make friends and not be so shy.
No, it's definitely your fault.
No, it's not. It's not my fault. It's not my fault at all.
It's Johnny's fault.
But, I mean, we spoke about those tyres, Jack. We spoke about the track to the course and how big of a challenge it was becoming to these drivers towards the end of race 1. How much more of a factor do we think it's going to be in race 2?
It's definitely going to be much more of a factor. You won't make it home if you don't change tyres, so you're going to have to change tyres. And whether maybe if there's a safety car late on, you might see some drivers maybe coming in again to get some extra fresh tyres just to have that extra grip around and make it a bit easier in the later stages where some people might be struggling. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. You're definitely going to see people pitting 4 tyres. If they don't, I would be very, very surprised, Hamish.
I think that quite possibly, I think you may be right. If we get that late safety car, maybe someone hasn't taken tyres and we get that late safety car, we may see, if there's enough gap, someone towards the front come in and take that extra set. And it's going to blow the door wide open. I think if that happens. Mitch claiming that it's always my fault. No, it's always Sinker's fault. We determined this last night on the Supercars broadcast. It's always Sinker's fault. Because he's
always
the organizer.
Johnny's fault.
It's always Johnny's fault. But
take it up with Johnny Rowe in the Discord,
yeah,
boys.
take it up with Johnny Rowe. It's always his fault. Blame him. That's the ticket. That's really the ticket. But I think the thought process of taking tyres in your stop is one of you're getting the ticket to the end of the race, aren't you? But you're also getting yourself a ticket to the battle at the end of the season, because whether you're battling for an AOWN spot, whether you're battling for a class championship, an overall championship, you need to put yourself in the positive position to fight for it at the end of the season. So the thought process, if you're in the mind of Doug Gowans, Giuliano Sinise, Danny Davidson, even Nick Martin, Ben Brook, Callum Rosanita, who unfortunately gave up a lot of points in that race, that might even take him out of the championship hunt. At this stage, if you're in the Kevin Wakefield Park, the Josh King Park for the AM Championship battle, you got to think about the fact that it's cut down now to only a few drivers are in this battle. Play it safe. Don't push too hard. Don't go for the risky play of staying out on tyres. Play the safe game. Take the tyres in this race. It's a hot, hot track. It's a track that will eat tyres for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe even dessert, depending on how hungry it is afterwards. But you use your smarts. And I think next week's the race that you maybe roll the dice, if it's a calculated one, Jack Oz, a calculated roll the dice, little calculated gamble. I don't think tonight is the night you gamble. I think tonight is the night that you play it as safe as possible, you take those tyres, and you push on to the end. It may even work out in your favour that you actually get a better position than what you were if you hadn't have taken tyres and everyone else around you didn't take tyres either.
Yeah, exactly. This track is already showing that it bites harder than the Gator to Chubbs in Happy Gilmore. So it's definitely one to be careful of, and you just want to be maybe that little bit more cautious than you normally would, especially if you're in a championship position, to try and get just to the end of it, and then come back next week with the undroppable round and do the best that you can.
Can I just point out, Mitch, your PC died after the race. Have you thought maybe having everything turned up might be hurting your PC? And it may be beneficial just to turn it down a little bit. And that might actually help stop your PC from dying or from crashing.
But you want it to look good, man.
You want it to look good, but I mean, I think mine looks pretty good. I've got majority of things on low. It's mainly the pit objects I've got on medium, so at least I have some pit objects. I don't think it looks too bad.
Would you say that is the equivalent of a racer? Making the car look nice, but not putting anything into performance mods.
Yes. I think having everything turned up, but with your PC dying is a Honda Del Sol that sits in your backyard and fills with water, is what it is. That was a personal reference that only Jack and I get. Only we get. If one other person from our past, if they randomly decide to watch this show for whatever reason, they'll understand it. No one else will. And we're going to keep it that way.
I'm sure that I would get a message being like, come into the Honda dealer to get your Del flop.
Get your Del flop now. But the feature race is upcoming, ladies and gentlemen. And for Josh King, there's a prime opportunity to pretty much lock down that AM championship for himself. He'll start pole. Giuliano Sinise will line up alongside. He has an opportunity now to put the major pressure on Danny Davidson and Doug Gowans into Suzuka next week. If he can get a win tonight and they have a poor run here in race 2, he is on the money. Matt Tesseriero, Jason Depp, they want to try and put some pressure on Ben Brook and Nick Martin to help out their teammate Callum Rosanita, who's in this Pro-Am Championship battle. But in saying that, Brook and Martin will line up in behind. They're the top 2 in that championship fight at the moment. There's 6 points that separate both of them, with Martin leading that title race. That's going to be an interesting battle for sure. Ray Oliver, Doug Gowans, they'll line up in behind. Jordan Mazzaroli, Danny Davidson will make up the back end of our reverse top 10. For the rest of the field, it'll be how they finished on a continuous grid basis, with Dylan DeBono, Tyler Sheaf in behind, former teammates at VSL, now at opposing Velocity teams. No association. Nathan Verney, Mick Clifton in behind. Andrew Proctor for your top 15 will line up alongside Andrew Martin with Tim Schmalenberg, Sean Benici, Kurt Heath, Matthew Fu. The friends lining up inside of your top 20. Dean Singovich, Brandon Levin will line up alongside each other with Kevin Wakefield, Steven Singovich. Somehow made it to P24 on the road. I don't know how that happened, but we'll see if we can go any further in this one. He'll line up ahead of Jamie Davis, Callum Rosanita, Matt Gerard, Andrew Cowan, Mitch Noble, and Brad Hudson at the back end of the field. Barb's saying must be water. It must be.
Those are definitely words of wisdom to go by.
Yep. Definitely words of wisdom. So, for Josh King, how does he play this, Jackals? Does he defend early? Does he maybe just take his time and hope that the cars in behind him are not going to absolutely rush him? And maybe he can just take his time to give up positions, because he doesn't necessarily need to fight for the win. If he was to finish where he is and his closest rival, Kevin Wakefield, to finish where he is, there's 22 positions that separate them at 3 points apiece. That is 66 points that he would gain over Kevin Wakefield at this point.
Oh, you'd be licking your lips in that sort of situation. He'd probably just have to maybe take a page out of Captain Depp's book and set sail and just try and get the wind to take you to victory lane, or just try and keep out of trouble, really. Let's be honest.
Just don't break land. Don't break land,
yeah,
you'll be fine.
Don't beat it on the last corner and you'll be right.
Could happen.
15 seconds.
Yep, 15 to go before the lights are up. And
Someone
King,
says a long time.
Some would say that 15 seconds is a very long time. Lights are going to go up, though. Drivers are going to prepare for the race start here at Homestead Miami for race 2 this evening. 5 lights, and we're underway once again in Miami for race 2. It was a great start from the front 2 drivers.
Well, they're going 4 wide into turn 1 down the back.
Oh my God, do not go 4 wide, please. They've somehow survived this time by. But Josh King leads to Giuliano Sinise, Tesseriero, Brook, Martin, Mazzaroli, Depp, Gowans, Oliver, DeBono for your top 10. Davison's already lost out early, but I think he knows he doesn't need to push too hard at this stage of the race as Andrew Proctor's gone off the track. Further back in the field, he's just in the grass there, kept it going once again. Tyler Sheaf getting eaten up here by Mick. Oh, he's actually having some blinking here as Sheafy. But Sinise looks to take the lead from Josh King. King gives it to him, plays the smart game. Just lets Sinise have it and now tries to push on to gain as many points as he possibly can in this amateur championship. Tessariero in behind. Brooke, Martin, Mazzaroli, Depp. There's been a big moment at the final, not the final corner, but at the hairpin. That's Brandon 11 that's been spun
still
around.
going on.
It's still happening.
There's more cars. There's more cars that were off the outside of that corner as well, Hamish. It happened before all that.
Oh, so they're still going at this stage. Sinise leads them across the line to start the next lap. Andrew Cowan's had a moment at the entry back into the infield. So we'll see if he can get it going once again. That's where he crashed earlier in race 1 that brought out the safety car for the beginning of proceedings. If we have a quick look back, though. So Andrew Proctor ended up off the road down at the start of the infield. He just ran it wide. Ran it a road. Unfortunately for him, Tim Schmalberg, Andrew Martin ending up off the road down at the hairpin at the exit of the... Oh, that's a big one.
Well, Beefy got spun around in that too. Maybe a bit of net code.
Wow, wowee. And then Brandon Levin.
That definitely would have woken you up if you weren't already awake.
Oh, definitely would have. Definitely would have. This was Brandon Levin and his spin at the same corner. Was this self-inflicted? It was.
Yeah, just on the curb by the looks of it, and then he maybe let go of the brakes just to get out of the way of everyone. So a good peace of mind of him. He can try and keep out of that. That is a very... Oh, that's not how you want to take that corner, Hamish.
No, and now Ray Oliver's also gone off circuit. This is how it's happened to him. Down at the same corner. Fast-paced action. Oh, big snap.
It looks like he might have had a snap going into the corner too. So maybe he superheated the tyres and they just lost all grip.
Oh no, but he's then had a further moment a little bit later on. So he's rejoined the circuit. Oh no, don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me, don't. Okay, I thought he may have rejoined. Oh no, he did rejoin and then spun. I was hoping he didn't rejoin in the line of fire at that stage. But lap 3 of this race, Sinise leads to Tessariero, Josh King, Ben Brook, Jordan Mazzaroli, Nick Martin, Doug Gowans, Jason Depp, Dylan DeBono, and Danny Davidson for your top 10. We're on board with Matt Fu on the bottom screen as he currently battles with Jamie Davis. And further back in the field, Jordan Mazzaroli's just gotten past Ben Brook, who's now under pressure once again from Nick Martin for that championship fight. But Fu wants the outside line of Davis. On board with him in the driver's eye, the bottom cam. Davis has managed to survive this time by. But the pressure is on young Jamie from Project 36 to try and get a move on here and keep Matthew Fu at bay.
Yeah, not too far behind this battle is also Brad Hudson, or Hutto. So they don't want to take that much time out of each other, or else you'll see Hutto just, as I say it, he's gone up the inside of Matthew Fu and he's gotten past him. So the Titanic has he's run aground. He's hit the iceberg.
I was going to say, has he hit the iceberg at the final corner? If the iceberg is the tire, okay, it wasn't the tire bundle. It was the bump. I almost feel the tire bundle is more like the iceberg, Jack. Not the bump in the road.
Oh, it's just anywhere that sinker is involved. It has to be the iceberg.
Yeah, anywhere he hits, it is an iceberg. But for Giuliano Sinise, he leads the way. Jordan Mazzaroli now hot on the heels of Matt Tessariero as they run down the back straight. Driver's eye view, inside line. Tucks it up on Tessariero. Tessariero gives it to him nice and easily. Doesn't want to fight that one too hard, and now Mazzaroli can push on to chase down Giuliano Sinise. Danny Davison at the moment is struggling
had a
in
moment.
Traffic as Gerard has gone round. And we can see that Davison here is pushing on. He wants to try and make his way up the order, but he's not pushing too hard. He's not overdriving the car at the moment, is Davison here, Jackos. I think he's playing that smart game, giving up a couple of points to Gowans and Sinise because he knows he doesn't need to beat them. He's already got the championship lead. Keep yourself in the fight. Keep yourself nice and clean. It's a long race. They may burn themselves out.
Dean lost it in the last corner. I'm just going it in the thing. Seems like he lost the seems to have lost the rear before he even made it around the corner. So
he broke the front wheel as well. Unfortunately there for Dean, and he's still struggling with that thing off track too. So
he's just gone for another lap with a broken wheel.
I don't think he actually realises it's broken.
Well, there is a chance.
I mean, it's not off the car, so is it really broken? Who knows?
Oh, you'd be feeling it for sure. It'd be vibrating.
You would, yeah. Davison, though, still struggling to get past Andrew Martin. That's Nick Martin. That's a whole lap. He's managed to not be able to get past Nick here at Homestead Miami Circuit. So it's been a struggle for the championship leader at this stage. For Doug Gowans, he's gaining some crucial points as Davison sends it down the inside turn 2. Braking zone for him. Nick Martin wants to try and hold him off here for an outside line. Gets the job done, does Danny Davidson, in a beautiful move. Once again, he's now back up into P8 on the road. Nick Martin's now given up some crucial time to Davidson ahead of him as we sit on board with him for driver's eye this time. The battle looks to continue on for all of them. Hopefully, maybe Nick is thinking, oh, Danny could drag me forward here a little bit, Jackos, and help me put the pressure on Ben just up ahead.
You'd always kind of hope that someone could give you a little bit of a helping hand and maybe help you just get an extra little spot or two. 255 calling an incident. I think maybe been pushed slightly wide or something.
That's Kurt Heath. Not sure what's happened to him. Doug Gowans has now made his way past Ben Brook into the latter half of the lap. As Sinise sets the fastest lap of the race last time by. That for him was a 1:15.32, so some good pace at the front of the field, 4-second gap. Back to Jordan Mazzaroli at the moment, who's got 2 seconds over Matt Tesoriero and Dylan DeBono and co. At this stage, Davison has now gotten past Ben Brook, and Nick Martin wants to try and follow him. Oh, sorry, Josh King.
Around the outside.
Job
that
done.
Was a nice little move.
That was a great move. Great little move there from Nick Martin. Did very, very well indeed. 8.5 minutes into this race. So, as Kevin Wakefield has had a moment in the background, big spinner, has kept it going. Somehow, he let it rip, but he's managed to keep it inside of the arena here at Homestead Miami. On board with Mitch Noble on the bottom screen. He's currently trying to chase down Sean Benici in the Whiskey Runners Racing entry. And that battle looks to happen inside of the top 13 for whoever comes out on top. Nathan Verney's just ahead of that battle as well. Sorry, on the back of Mick Clifton and Josh King for your top 10 positions. They've kept it nice and clean the first few laps here, Jackos. I have a feeling that the big major moments are going to come once those tyres start to die out a little bit, we'll say, towards the end of this race.
Yeah, I'd agree. They're definitely going to get a little bit more spicy, as you would say. When the tyres start to wear down a little bit, people might start to push stuff beyond the limits of the tyre and make a few mistakes, or they might start to get a little bit tired. They would have been racing for about 60 minutes or so by the end, or say 40 to 60 minutes by halfway or the end of the race. Then it would just it starts to definitely wear on your mental and physical.
Drive-through penalty, sorry to interrupt. Car 664 and 057. That is going the way of
Andrew Martin.
Andrew Martin. And I think that might be Nick... is it Nick Schmalenberg? Tim Schmalenberg. Tim Schmalenberg and Andrew Martin, as Matt Foos had an off down at the final corner.
Yeah.
So for Matt Gerard, it's now a comeback race for him. He's up 7 spots in this one as Mick Clifton centred on the inside of Josh King. Job done for him, it seems, although it's still too wide through there as they battle their way forward. Jamie Davis is a little bit further back from this battle. He's on the back end of Cal Rosanita as Tesseriero and Ben Brook wrestle for position here inside of the top 5 as Tesseriero gets that job done. So he remains inside of the top 5, defends the position ahead of Ben Brook. Davison needs to be careful, needs to be a little bit cautious now, Jackos, in how he approaches this, because the more that these guys battle, the harder that they battle, the more risk there is for Danny Davidson of getting involved and ending up in the wall and out of this race. So he needs to now take that little bit of caution, a little bit of reprieve, and just stay consistent and stay in the fight. So if they're going to battle, he may just be better off just backing off, sitting behind them, letting them take each other out, and then sneaking on by.
Yeah, you just got to do maybe a bit of risk management and think what's the risk versus the reward in this battle. What do I risk in overtaking these cars or battling them hard, try and get those positions? That was almost contact with those 2 cars ahead of him. Yeah, you just got to weigh it up. Is it worth it? Do I stay behind him? Do I go for the move as it looks like he is going to try and dive one of them at least?
Somehow gets it done on Tesseriero.
A bit cheeky there.
That
looks like he might have gone for the double.
He wanted the 2-for-1 special. Then he wanted the dollar menu special of two for 1. As he's now tucked in right behind Ben Brook. Massive pressure at this stage. Jason Depp, Matt Tesseriero off the road. So what has happened? I believe Nick Martin's also been off track too. So it was Tesseriero who went wide. They then took evasive action. Somehow avoided. I don't know if Depp made contact or not. Let's have a quick look.
That was very close if he didn't.
Let's have a look if he made contact with his own teammate. On board with Jason Depp. So there's the spin from Tesseriero. Oh, that was probably a real little, kiss the cross on your neck and hope for the best moment there for Jason Depp for sure.
Surely he would be saying shiver me timbers after that one.
Where is the rum? That's what he's asking.
I need more rum.
I need more rum.
He's definitely packed his jar of dirt with him now.
Oh, for sure. Wrapped around the neck with a nice rope as well. Just what you want. Giuliano Sinise, though, leads the way. 5 seconds back is Jordan Mazzaroli. And then Dylan DeBono is starting to chase him down. Doug Gowan's inside of your top 5. Danny Davidson back in P6. He's trying to chase down the leader of the Pro-Am class at the moment, Ben Brook, who's just had a big old blink. So he'll be hopeful that he can try and get past Ben here as soon as possible to not get caught up with these possible internet issues. Nick Martin, a little bit further back from Ben at the moment. If they were to finish how they are, they would leave this round the same points differential they had coming into it, which was 4 points. No, it would be 3 points because it is a 40-minute race. So Ben would actually be gaining a single point on Nick Martin if that were to happen. Across the whole round, not just this race, across the whole round. As Davison gets that job done. So he gets past Ben now and looks ahead to Doug Gowan's 2.7 seconds up the road from him.
Every little point counts, Hamish.
It does. It does.
That one point of the round might actually come in handy at the end of the season. You never know.
Well, we think about it. Davison won race 1, took maximum points. Sinise was P9, so he lost. It was 8 positions, so 16 points. Currently, Sinise's P1. Davison's back in P5. That's 4 positions. So Nize's gaining back 12 points. So on a net loss, he's only losing 4 points at this stage. If Davison would have dropped 2 more places, that would become a little bit better for him. As Mitch Noble's had a spin at the final corner. I think he may have kept it off the tyre or off the wall there. I don't know if he missed out on the barrels though, Jackos. I think that might be the main issue here.
It looked like his wing might have been in decent shape, so he might have kept it off.
I think he did.
Yeah.
He did. Oh, he hit the front though, but that was about as tight as you want to get, I would say.
About a 5-cent piece in between there and the little water bucket.
Little bee stinger, surely. A little bit of a bee stinger between there. Oh, what a beautiful track, though. This is out in Miami, Florida, of course. It's the home of our 8th race of the season here this evening. Got 1 race to go at Suzuka next week, and it's a single race, 60 minutes to claim the championship for the 3 classes here in the series. For the AMs, for Josh King, he just needs to have a finishing position in that one, and he should claim the title. For Nick Martin and Ben Brook, it's going to come down as a fairy tale ending all the way to the end, and a massive crescendo as Mick Clifton comes into pit lane, the first of the pit stoppers in this one. A little bit early, I would say, especially if you're planning to take tyres. It's a little bit early for my blood. And then for the pros, where it's going to come down to how much pressure can you apply for Danny Davidson. Oh, Nathan Verney, though, in a wild moment.
Jamie Davis, I believe, on the inside there. I'll rewind it so then we can see it.
Okay, well, we'll get another view of this in a moment here from Jack Oz as he sets it up. He'll let us know once it's ready. So for the pros, the main pressure is that if Danny Davidson has a 20 or 30 point lead over P2, that it is one that will almost seem insurmountable in that 60-minute race. And it will come down to the fact that Davidson will just have to run his regular race and he should win the title. They kind of need to put the pressure on him by having him make a mistake here tonight, but he's been pretty faultless all night thus far. I believe Jackals has this set up now, so we can have a look at it down at turn 1. On board with Jamie Davis on the inside of Nathan Verney. So there's still, he's alongside. Whoa, that
ran out of room and a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there.
We'll leave that one up to race control. That seemed a little bit contentious for my blood, so we'll leave it up to them to come to a determination in that one. If we look further back, we've still got Andrew and Nick Martin on their camera here this evening. Nick is in a great battle for P6 on the road and the Pro-Am win here this evening as well. Cal Rosanita, another one of our camera compatriots here this evening. He rockets down into the top 10 now, up 16 places in this race, having a nice clean run is Cal. We had Andrew Martin in that camera shot before as well. He's further back in P27 at this stage of this race. Andrew Cowan in an intensifying battle at the moment with Kurt Heath as well. Lets him go at this stage. P6 down on the road there for Cowie, up 12 in this race with about 21 minutes to go. Could Cowie get something out of this? Could he try and keep the clean run going as De Bono has come in right at the halfway point pretty much? So, do we think De Bono takes tyres, Jack Oz, or do we think he just takes fuel?
Well, I'm reckoning he takes tyres.
So,
he might get away without it, but it's pretty tough.
So, looking further back in the field, we've got a couple of 7-second stops. Car 92 drive-through penalty for that contact, so Jamie Davis has been found at fault. It's averaging between 4 and 7 seconds. He has stopped. De Bono is stopped, though, right now for 20 seconds as Verney and Oliver have come together at the back end of the circuit. De Bono's taken a very long stop. I think he might have had an unsafe pit entry.
Quite possibly. It looks like it's very easy to do with the kind of tricky sort of pit entry by the looks of it. There's the right-left that you have to slow down not quick enough for. As we see the replay here,
so they both went off track.
That's
an
definitely
unsafe pit entry. Yeah, unsafe entry, so It's unfortunate for him. That now takes him out of this fight for this race and pretty much takes him out of the championship fight as well. Unfortunately for Dylan De Bono, going to have to get on the comeback train here tonight to get something out of that. This was with Vernie and Oliver. Nowhere to go for Ray. And Vernie is just a passenger at that point. So both of those guys coming together in a big moment at the midpoint of this race. So unfortunately there for Dylan De Bono. He is now out of proceedings, or not out, he's still in the race, but it'll take an absolute miracle for him to get back into it. No one is taking tyres, Jackos, it seems. So,
well, I mean, all they need is a safety car and De Bono will be back into it.
Brad A's asking, can we expect to see you behind the wheel soon, Hamish? Well, the first half of this season I was racing on Fridays in the Pro 2 lights. Brad, I would say no at this stage, apart from maybe a Friday night fun race at some point. Is Watkins Glen next season, Jackos, or is that season 3?
I think that might be season 3.
Okay.
Kurt Heath is in the wall at the last corner. That was a big contact. Lost front wing, maybe some suspension damage.
As Mazzaroli's in, and so is Josh King. So do we see them? Do we see them take some tyres? We're waiting to see if someone rolls the dice with tyres.
Well, he's
here.
one up on the jack, so I would assume that he is.
So maybe the 7-second stops the tyres then?
Yeah, they don't take very long in these cars, so I would have been very hot. Well, I am very surprised if the people didn't take tyres. You do see them lift up, which would indicate that they might have taken tyres, but yeah, you'd be very hard pressed not to take tyres around here. You've seen how the deg is, even in the 20-minute race, let alone the 40-minute race. So
I'm just going to have a quick look at some of the info I was given into this race. So they start with 22.5 litres. The initial fill gets you about 20 laps, or 25 minutes. Full tank gets you 25 laps, 31 minutes. So the earliest they could have come in was lap 9. So in saying that, they only need another 20 laps worth of fuel. So it's 22.5 litres. It's normally a 2.3 litre per second fill. That adds up. It roughly adds up to about 7 seconds. I don't think they've taken tyres for 7 seconds, because that's incredibly quick. As Nick Martin and Tim Schmalenberg have had a coming together. What has happened to Tim Schmalenberg down there, as well as Nick Martin? So, of course, one of the championship contenders for the Pro-Am title race is it just a spin and kept it out of the wall. Oh, very, very lucky for Nick Martin. Very, very lucky. I think he'll probably be counting his whispers at the moment, Jackos, and just hoping that he doesn't make a mistake like that again tonight. This was then Tim Schmalenberg at the same corner a little bit later on. And it was
even before the corner.
Wow. Just a little bit too much speed carried, and that's what's cost him. So, yeah, I don't actually think they've... Do they go up on the jacks just for fuel? I know they do in the supercar.
I don't think they do. I believe it's only for tyres, so I could be completely wrong, which I probably am, knowing me, but...
It's one of the reasons that we asked the question, obviously, because we want to try and confirm.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the only way we're going to know is if someone takes over 10 seconds for their pit stop, and that's when we'll know if they've taken tyres or not. Aside from that, it's Schrodinger's cat scenario. It's you don't know if they did or they didn't. But to go back to Brad's question, most likely, Brad, outside of a Friday night fun event, the next time someone would see me on track is if they're in the same split as me for the Watkins Glen 6 hour, which me and the drivers who drove it last year, we kind of made the plan that we'd do it again this year. Again, to try and go better than what we did, which was P5. So we want to try and take the win, don't we, Jackos, as Sinise's come into P lane in the lead.
Yeah, exactly. We want to try and back up our result from last year. That was probably one of the hardest defences that I've ever done in a special event.
We've it was absolute limbs. We've had confirmation they don't go up just for fuel, so they are taking tyres through all this, which is really good to know for us, of course. Dylan DeBono has had a crash. He's kept going. I think he's kept it out of the wall. Minus
that
one of those
wing
little
looked
spins.
pushed in on the right hand side though.
Oh,
very slightly.
So yeah, thanks so much for confirming that for us, guys. Really appreciate it. So what's happened to DeBono? So he had this a little bit of a wiggle, and then the spin, and then just lit it up and kept going. See, I wouldn't do that with the tyre wear around here. I know you want to try and keep it going, but that seems a bit risky to me.
Yeah, it's where do you draw the line with that? It's like you'll lose more time over the whole stint really when you Brandon Levin was going very slow there through the second corner. He might have just come out of the lane or something, but Beefy caught him very quickly. And he's still sliding around, so.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys confirming for us, because we know that because when so in the supercar, for example, when they just take fuel, it still goes up, even when they don't take tyres. So we that's one of the reasons why we're trying to confirm with the SFL. So, you know, we don't 100% know if they go up for tyres or just fuel, but I'm assuming that they're going up for tyres, and they wouldn't go up if it's just fuel. I mean, you know, bit sick and loss of the memory retention at the moment. Kind of hurts the brain trying to figure it out. But regardless, if they haven't taken tyres, they're all in the same boat. If they've taken tyres, they're in the same boat. So it doesn't really make a difference for us. Silver, so for the position numbers, so the position colours, aside from who we've selected, which is Giuliano Sinise at the moment. So the position background colours, so for gold it means that they are a pro class, for black it means that they are pro-am, and for silver it means that they are an amateur, as Cal Rosanita's gone off track. When they've got the maroon behind the position number, that's who we're currently selected on. So right now, on the main screen, we've selected onto Callum Rosanita. If we change to Giuliano Sinise at the front of the field, his number all of a sudden becomes maroon in behind that one as well. So that's what they refer to for the position colours.
DeBono is stopped as well. I think he's actually called for a tow, and the safety car is rolling in the pit lane.
Oh, how has he ended up there? So he's traversed through towards the final couple of corners. He's had a little big old snap. Oh, that is a tough one. That's a tough pill to swallow for Dylan DeBono. That is incredibly tough. But with the safety car entering the circuit, which it was rolling, so we're going to assume that the safety car has been called. We haven't heard confirmation from race control.
Yes, it has been called. They're just waiting for the leader to come around so they can pick it up.
Okay, so this now changes the game a little bit. If you're Sinise Jackos with an 12 second lead, do you come in and take those tyres and get that fresh rubber on the car?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
He hasn't come in. He's kept going. He's taken the track position.
Like it's worth it.
I reckon the gamble would have been worth it.
Yeah, but the travel down the lane would have also been maybe a bit too long.
John, John's gotten confused. So gold is pro, black is pro-am, and silver is amateur. So black is pro. Gold is pro, black is pro-am, silver is am. So that's to confirm what it is. I'll even type it into chat for anyone else who's wondering.
But yeah, we have the safety car has picked up the leader, and they're starting to file in one by one. So. definitely could be, Andrew, saying that it could be caused, or that crash could have been caused by the hot rears due to doing the donut after the spin.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's a very, very fair point. Very, very fair point by Andrew there.
They may not have been superheated at that point, but they will definitely be a lot hotter than they would have normally been around that point.
Not just the heat, but also the wear that created on the tyres too, really scrubbing them up more so than what they should have been, compacted with that heat too. So I think it was all just, unfortunately, a recipe for disaster from fixing that spin. If we check in with the track temp and where we currently sit, have we actually... We've dropped. We're down to 46 degrees, Jackos. We've lost some temperature here in the track, so starting to get that a little bit cooler. Oh, we try not to make it too confusing, John. We you know, it's I suppose the longer that people have been watching, the easier it is for them to remember. I do understand that it might be a bit harder for someone fresh, but did any of the top box? No, not under the safety car.
I don't believe so. Everyone has preferred their track position over getting brand new tyres, which is kind of understandable.
Yeah.
Maybe someone around the back.
It was only a few. It was only a few laps ago that they pit, so it's not like they've gone 20 laps on these tyres. They've only gone a couple. It's not really going to give them too much advantage, but it's that gambling position. It's that gambling point.
A bunch of people have might just be slowing down for the safety car, maybe. But oh no, it's the pit exit probably. There was a whole bunch of people that it said that it crashed, but it could have just been literally slowing down when they reached the train.
I think it might have been slowing down for the train or exiting pit road as well. Track position is king. That's right, Guacal. I suppose. How much time would Sinise given up? He had an 11-second gap. It's about a 30-second drop. So yeah, he would have given up a lot of track position to come in for just tyres. That probably wouldn't have been worth it, actually, now that I think about it.
No,
so,
the age of these tyres, it definitely wasn't worth coming in. Maybe if it was a bit later.
Yeah, like if we were maybe going for an hour, and they could have made it on the one stop, and you're at 10 minutes to go, fair enough. Giuliano's livery is really nice. I kind of wish he had some teammates out there so we could have a couple of these cars on track, because it is one of the nicest dressed cars in the field, I must say, is Giuliano Sinise's. So, pressure's on now, Jackos. Sinise all of a sudden's got cars right behind him in Mazzaroli, Gowans and Davison. Davison's still in the battle, of course, the championship leader. He's only giving up a couple of points now to Gowans and Sinise in this championship fight. What do they need him to do? To really put the pressure on him for Suzuka next week in this championship fight, what do they need Danny Davidson to do or to have happen to him in this race?
Well, they need him to have a nightmare. They need maybe to put the mocker on him like I put on the Fifi a couple of weeks ago. But as they go back racing now, he's built a pretty nice gap already. But yeah, they just kind of need to hope that Danny Davison has a little bit of a mare for the rest of the race, which is a pretty big ask. He's been pretty clean a lot of the season, so yeah, we'll see what happens to him and see what happens going into the last round.
It's pretty rare that Davison makes a mistake. I mean, pretty rare.
Yeah, exactly. He kind of cemented himself as one of the
he's one of the
operators of the league.
He's one of the smoothest drivers, incredibly consistent. He's got caught up in a couple of moments this season, but at this stage, there's a reason why he leads the title race. And realistically speaking, it is consistency that wins championships. And I think, unfortunately for Doug and Giuliano, whether it's through bad luck or mistakes that they've made, they've not been consistent. As Jamie Davis has gone round at the hairpin onto the back straight. Glock saying Davison wrecked 2 weeks ago and a few weeks before that intent wreck. Someone, we're not sure you guys reckon he's so stable. No, I think as an overall scale of things, I mean, obviously it's easy to pick out those single moments as he's not clean, but everyone has made those sorts of mistakes before. We're not claiming that he's perfect. He hasn't been perfect all season. He wasn't perfect last season. We're claiming that he's been the cleanest of the lot. He's been the fact of he's run consistent races majority of this season. Yes, he's had those moments, as you said, at Mid-Ohio and at other races too this season. But he's been the most consistent out of the lot of the field, and that's why he leads the championship. So, you know, however you feel about him and how he's raced, or how anyone else has raced this season, he has been the luckiest, he's been the most consistent, and he's been the cleanest in terms of racing at the front and taking race wins or positive performances to keep himself at the top of the championship table. But at the moment, Mazzaroli, in a massive send on Sinise, takes the lead with only 3.5 minutes to go. So Sinise will be swearing now because of that safety car, because it's arguably cost him the lead of this race. So yeah, so when we make those points, Jack Oz, we understand that he's made those mistakes, but he's not perfect.
Yeah, exactly. You could say the same about most people in this league. A lot of people in this league are actually very clean. It's just they have unlucky moments that happen to everyone, really. Like the front runners of Mazzaroli, Sinise, even Gowie, everything. Like everyone's had those moments. They're arguably extremely clean, but they just get unlucky. Unlucky in some instances. As yeah, there was a question put over the chat then, like the in-game chat, about maybe the legitimacy of the pass there by Mazzaroli. He passed maybe underneath the white line of the. I keep on forgetting what you call it, but
the apron.
I know. Yeah, he passed maybe on the apron, so not sure about.
Yeah, no, that. See, well, if that's grass, that's not a legitimate pass. So
yeah, so I'm not sure on that. Race control.
That's going to have to come down to race control, which I think he's just redressed it actually, because he's just given up the spot to Gowans and to Sinise. So he's trying to fight back with it to Gowans here. So maybe he just wanted to redress because that was a bit of a no-no. That's more or less where supplementary regulations can come into effect. Or, I mean, they say that the white line is the track limit, so that would be frowned upon. Oh, there's been a bit of a touch with Gowans and Mazzaroli though, and Davison is now going to come past Gowans. So could this cost Gowans now in the championship? Could this cost him side by side with Davison down at the hairpin? Only 1 minute and 20 seconds to go, so it'll be one more lap when we cross the line for Giuliano Sinise at the front of the field. Davison looks to get this job done now on Doug Gowans here for P2.
And Sheafy's just turned around.
Oh, Davison's gone! Davison's gone and into the wall hard! Big championship implications!
Has he broken? Can he get going again?
He's got going, but he's back in P13 on the road. P15 now. This is huge. This is massive for the championship, especially for Giuliano Sinise. He came into this round. I need to check. He came into this round 28 points behind Danny Davidson, and he lost. What did we say it was? He lost 16 points in race 1, so that's 44. 44 points was the differential coming into race 2. With Davison now back in P23, 3 points separate each position. That's 22 positions. That's 66 points that Giuliano Sinise is now gaining on Danny Davidson. Is Sinise going to lead the championship into the final round? What a wild moment. I'm not sure if Doug hit him. We'll watch it back after the race, but through the final corner for Giuliano Sinise in a wild moment. At the crescendo of the season, he crosses the line to take the win at Homestead Miami. Gowans comes home P2. Brooke on the podium for the Pro-Ams and takes the win. Depp and Noble in behind. Mick Clifton takes the amateur win here tonight. But Jackos, we have to break down this moment with Doug Gowans and Danny Davison, because this now has changed the championship. It has completely changed the championship scenario and the championship standings. Was there contact? No. He caught the curb. Davison caught the curb and did it to himself in a mistake. And we spoke him up. We spoke him up. How clean he's been, how consistent he's been. But there's always a but, and there's always a caveat. One mistake can take it away from you.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
You can be the cleanest driver in the world, or you can be not the cleanest driver in the world, and you can always make a mistake on any time. So,
and to further our point before about how we're talking about consistency, consistency wins championships. Giuliano Sinise has probably been the more unlucky driver this season compared to inconsistent. He's been caught out in some moments. Yes, he's made mistakes, as has Danny Davidson, as is everyone else. But he's probably been the more unlucky driver out of him and Danny Davidson. This moment now has completely shifted this championship field. It's completely shifted in the fact that if the math is correct, and it states that Sinise is gaining 66 points on Danny Davidson, it means that he will lead Danny Davidson by 22 points leading into Suzuka, and he'll lead the championship for the first time in quite a few rounds. So yeah, it consistency can pull you a long way, but it's how consistent you can be when it matters as well. So that it's such a wicked game, and it's one that can break hearts. It's one that can cost you, and it's one that can hurt you too. You're right, Mr. Noble, saying Carton had a hell of a comeback. He had a hell of a redemption to Mr. Mitch Noble there. Mitch loves to talk in the third person, it seems, but Jackos, I mean, do we have to eat our words a little bit now about what we said about Davison, or is it one of those wild things on track that can happen where we now have to shrug our shoulders and say, watch next week and see what happens?
Oh, look, I think it's just one of those things, really. He's over the course of the season, you could say he has been one of the more consistent drivers with results. Doesn't mean he's necessarily the cleanest at it with those said incidents throughout the season, but it also happens. Like, we can eat our words, but at the same time, there's a reason why he's leading the championship. He's we still try and come across as unbiased as we can with the views of he's got the results, so he must be consistently doing well and stuff like that. But yeah, it's one of those things. It happens to everyone, and I'm
also just going to point out that no one has pointed out the fact that Mick Clifton was reclassified as a Pro-Am this season, even though he was listed as an Am in the league, because it means that Josh King's actually the race winner for the Ams again. So I was going to point out that no one pointed it out to me. None of you out there pointed it out to me that Mick Clifton was actually a Pro-Am this whole time. We have misclassed him as an amateur when he is not. But we'll start, though, with Josh King, who has caught up with Jack Anderson once again after another impressive amateur win here this evening.
Josh, you've had a pretty good night out there with a class win, and how are you feeling after that one?
How you going, fellas? I'm feeling really good after that. It was a tough race, but I'll give it to Dougie. Very good track choice. And yeah, overall good race.
And what were your thoughts on the tyre situation? Were they overheating quite a bit, or a bit more skatey at this track than you found at other tracks?
I found the tyres all right, but I played it safe. I'd done a tyre change in the pit stop just to be sure, just not get caught out.
And the last corner definitely caught out a couple of people. Did you find that was definitely a point to practice more than say other sort of sections?
Oh yeah, that last corner, if you got your line wrong, it was game over. But if you got the line right, it was all right, and just got to play it safe through that last corner, and you get through there nice and clean.
Josh, how hard is it to get your Ryan long compared to Ryan short?
Oh, mate, hard.
I wasn't going to say it, but how are you looking forward to Suzuka? Is it one of your favourite tracks, or favourite tracks on the calendar, I should say, going into the last round?
I wouldn't say that. It's not my favourite track, but just the last round. We'll just go in there, play it safe, and see how the championship comes.
Well, to be fair to you, Josh, you've just gained, in the second race alone, 30 points over Kevin Wakefield. So I think at this point, you might pretty well have it locked up, apart from, just needing to show up next week and finishing the race. So, you've had a mega season. Some may argue misclassified, possibly, but you've made the most of it. And you made the most of it of putting yourself in a championship winning position. Now, if you can't race next week, of course, then Kevin Wakefield can win the title, but it's going to be a tough ask for him. How have you felt, though, across this season? Obviously being put back in amateurs, having to race your way forward each week, getting consistent finishes in the mid-pack of the field. You've probably been one of the more consistent drivers out there across all the classes. How's it felt all season, though, to rock up every Wednesday night, get a nice, clean finish in, and just try and move on to the next round each week?
Really good. I was a bit surprised I got put back in amateurs at the start of the season, but you just take it as a grain of salt and just do every week as clean as you can and make the most of it.
That's all you can do, mate. But let us know. Helps get you and Team SLW Motorsports out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to? For myself, Jack Oz, and the rest of the league, congratulations on another amateur class winning tonight, another top 10 finish as well. And then for extending your championship lead once again here in the amateurs. And, well, you may have just given yourself possibly two hands on the trophy leading into next week.
Cheers, fellas. First, I'd like to thank you boys in the commentary box, all the fellas behind the scenes getting this together, all the boys at the team, Jamie Davis, all the team on the track, and yeah.
Very good. Well, Josh, best of luck at Suzuka next week. We look forward to seeing how you go in your possible swan song of an amateur championship before going back up to Pro-Am next season. We'll see how you go, and we'll see if you can lock this one out, and if possibly Lady Luck has your way once again.
Cheers, fellas.
Thanks, Josh. Next up, we have Ben Brook of Frog Leap Juice Racing. Have a quick chat to him, who's now gained some crucial points over his championship rival, Nick Martin. Ben, big night on the road for you, P3, and you've gained, if I do the quick maths here, 30 points over Nick Martin now in this second race, finishing 10 positions ahead of him, or it might be 9, so maybe roughly 30, but a nice little lifeline for you in this championship battle, where you would hope to go into the final round again after season 3 of last year and try and take a second Pro-Am championship for yourself. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to make it, actually, after last week. The actual video card blew up, so that's why I disconnected and all sorts of weird stuff happened. So thanks to one of our great sponsors in Stott Hall. Got a new GPU, set it all up this morning, did a couple of practice laps, and here we are.
Well, mate, how are you feeling going into Suzuka next week? Of course, a tough track, 60 minutes of racing, one that I think is going to take a lot of consistency. You've got that little bit of buffer now in this championship battle between you and Nick. Does that ease the pressure a little bit, or does it almost put a little bit more on you to have to try and perform and really hit a target next week?
I'll just take it as it comes. Suzuka, I love the track. I don't go very well there, so look, I'll just maintain, hopefully just stay in front of Nick and just watch where he is and just keep it there. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Our qualifying times have been so close over this season. It's been ridiculous. We've always been sort of side by side. So I'm sure that will continue, and I hope we just have a good battle.
I think you both have proven that you've been putting on an epic show for us for the Pro-Am class this season. Jacko, is there anything that you want to mention to Ben or ask him before we let him go here this evening?
I'm gone completely blank, to be honest. You've basically asked all that I was thinking of, so I can't honestly think of anything at the moment.
That's fair enough. That's fine. All right, Ben. Well, let us know. Helps get you and Frog Leap Juice Racing out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well? For myself, Jack, and the rest of the league, congratulations on another Pro-Am win here tonight. A podium overall as well, and some crucial points leading into that championship decider next week at Suzuka. Congratulations.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Big shout out to the guys at Frog Leap Juice Racing and our sponsors, Juice Energy, Racecraft, Sudspeed Gloves, and Stott Hall, and to you guys in the broadcast booth and the race controllers and SRW. Thanks a lot.
No worries, Ben. Best of luck next week at Suzuka. We look forward to seeing how you go.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Next up, we have Dougie Gowans of Full Throttle Racing here in P2 this evening. Mr. Gowans, in what quite possibly might go down as one of the most controversial ends to a MOZA Racing Formula Championship race we've ever seen, all compounding on the second to last lap, mind you. First of all, there was contact between yourself and Jordan, which I know would have been an atrocity to have happen to yourself, but...
Oh, 100%.
And we look back at this one post-race as well for Danny Davidson catching the curb under pressure and spinning himself and dropping to P23 in the championship. We built up the fact of how many points Sinise now gained on him. It should mean that Giuliano will lead the championship into Suzuka next week.
Oh, wow.
The point that I kind of missed, though, was the fact that yourself has now also gained... was it 21 positions worth of points, so 33 points over him, which now cuts down your gap to him roughly to, I think it's about maybe 35 to 40 odd points between you and him. This is if the math adds up as well, and if this would be counted as a drop round for Danny, then that completely changes the math, of course. But what it means is, so if this wasn't a drop round for him, it means that Giuliano... in race 1 lost, I think it went from 28 to 44, and now that he's gained 66, it means that he leads him, because obviously 22 by 3 is 66, and actually you would be gaining 63 on him, so you'd actually be ahead of him at this point.
Look,
so
I think in regards to the championship, I'm a pretty moot point. I don't hold out any hopes for it.
You've Bradburged your way to it before, Doug. Might I just point out the pro class of 8.6s? So
that's just being consistent. That's what that is, and I do try to be consistent. I just had a look back at that incident there with Jordan. Me and Giuliano were having a look, and there was a couple of bites of net code there, which is very unfortunate. I certainly didn't want Jordan to have a spin or anything along those lines. Then Danny freaked me out when he just veered straight left. That was a shock to the system. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's about being consistent and, just trying to deliver good results, week in, week out. And that's the only reason why I'm up there. We all know I'm not one of the fastest guys or anything like that, but I'm probably one of the more consistent.
We would have to humbly agree. I mean, we were speaking about, ironically, we were speaking about the consistency of Danny Davidson. And then it was challenged by the chat based on, obviously, some pinpoint moments of him making a mistake, and then also a rejoin a few weeks back at Mid-Ohio as well. But everyone has those moments. And realistically, we then kind of compounded that fact with the fact that Giuliano's probably been the more unlucky driver out of the two. He's been a lot more unlucky.
I don't know. Look at me at the race in Chicago. 2 laps to go in the lead.
out of Danny and Giuliano, I mean. Out of them two, Sinise's been the more unlucky. Where
that's right,
he hasn't been inconsistent. He's been either caught up in someone else's drama, compounded with his own. where Danny's
Yeah.
really only been compounded in his own when he's made
correct.
those mistakes. So,
Yeah, that's correct.
I mean, you look at tonight, the mistake was his own. It wasn't with anyone else.
No,
It's one of those things.
it was a weird one, you know. I mean, his line was pretty well right. I didn't see him hit that inside curb too hard. Majority of us were attacking it like that tonight. But then to just see him just go left, I initially thought that he had a wheel failure. Yeah, just it was just that quick and that violent on his behalf.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, no, very unfortunate for him. And again, in regards to Jordan, you know, I mean, I don't want any type of incidents, whether it's neck code or whether it's a slight touch or whatever. You know, at the end of the day, you know, you don't want to race like that. But speaking of the championship, how good is it going into the final round then between Giuliano and Danny? You know, I mean, that's going to be a cracker.
Thanks to the compounded pressure from yourself, you've just given us an all-timer for an end of the championship. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better ticket, could we, Jack Oz? So thanks, Doug. Appreciate that.
Hey, that's exactly what you want. You know, it's what you hope for at the start of the season. You want to see that fight all throughout, and then to go down to the final round.
That's nothing against Danny. I mean, he's driven a fantastic season. Giuliano's driven a fantastic season too. He's been very unlucky. But like, come on, we want it, so it's like it's on its head at the end at the final round, and it's like, well, who's going to win it? What's going to happen? So,
well,
you know.
I mean, look at I think it's Dave Gallo. A couple of seasons ago, he won the championship, and he didn't win a race. You know, he was just so.
Season 1 of last year. I think it was the first time. It was the first time someone did it without winning a race all season.
Mr. Consistency, right there. You know, I mean, that's what it's about.
Yeah, and then, you know, you look at, I mean, for Davison, you'd almost feel very similarly to how DeBono lost the championship last season, where it was 2 rounds in a row where you got into incidents that weren't his fault.
Yep.
But again, Davison hasn't been unlucky as much as Giuliano has this season. So I feel like I don't know, it's tough. When we don't play favourites, obviously, we got to think about it from a viewer's perspective, at least a neutral viewer for those two.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
But yeah.
Oh, look, you can still feel sorry for the person who's having all the trouble, and you can still feel sorry for the person who's, you know, been producing the results, but then on the odd occasion can have a bad round. You know, but as I said, you know, now look at us going into Suzuka next week, final round, both of them in the title hunt. I can't wait to watch the race back for that one. That's going to be a beauty.
Well, if both of them have an absolute mare and you have a blinder, you could win, Doug.
Not going to happen.
It could win.
It won't happen,
the math says you can win. You know, no matter how far-fetched it may seem, look at how it swung for Danny on its head tonight. The flip of a coin, and it's completely swung on its head. So it could happen.
It could, but you know, I mean, 1 in a trillion chance. You know, so you know, I don't hold any expectations for it. I'm just going out there to have a great race as usual. You know, do the best that I can, and yeah, I'm happy where I'll finish in the championship. Absolutely.
That's all we could ever ask for. But
yeah, that's it.
Before we let you go, Jackos, is there anything you want to ask Doug or have a quick chat to him about before we let him get out of here?
I just want to say thank you for all that you've done this season. I know it's a big task taking over from Hutto, and
oh yeah,
I think you guys have done I think you guys have done a great job. So I just wanted to say thank you for what you've been doing.
Oh no! Thank you. Appreciate that. You know, we our first season trying to do this, and you know, we've done the best that we can. We tried to present a challenging season to the drivers, and you know, they stepped up to the mark. You know, some tracks they went into, you know, with some trepidation, and at the end of the race, they say, "Look, I really enjoyed that." You know, so it's pleasing to hear that, you know, from your end and also for the drivers that they did enjoy it.
Well, Doug, let us know how helps get you and Full Throttle Racing out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well? For myself and Jack Oz, congratulations on P2 provisionally at the moment here this evening. We'll see if Race Control have anything to say about changing that or not. But for right now, you are P2 in the race finishing position. So let us know helps get who you get out there or anyone else you want to thank.
No, just running as a privateer this season. Yeah, I'm just going to go sit back and watch the show now, and you know, eat my ice cream as I usually do at this time of night. And yeah,
you and Pricey need to make a team together, Doug. That's
yeah. But... That's right. He ran that on the 86 last week, didn't he?
He did.
Oh, yeah, that's
he must have known I was going to be there as the commentator. He deliberately did it. So
For sure, for
Oh,
sure.
for
But thanks very much to RC tonight and the guys racing tonight. I think they all done really well. Thanks to you two guys for the commentary tonight.
No worries at all. Thanks so much for joining us, Doug. Best of luck. Best of luck next week at Suzuka. We look forward to seeing how you go.
Cheers, fellas. See you later.
See you, Doug. Next up, we have P1 on the road this evening. Giuliano Sinise once again comes home in a race-winning position. He's caught up now with Jack Anderson.
Giuliano, welcome to the booth. You
Hello,
must be happy with that result.
Very, very ecstatic about that one. And without swearing, finally though, it's probably the word to use.
Yeah, and I think Hamish was mentioning you also will have taken the lead in the championship going into the final round. So how do you feel about that?
I mean, I actually don't know, to be honest. Okay, to be honest, I actually didn't even consider that, to be honest. Cool, that's pretty sweet. I guess it's kind of, what's it called? Kind of sweet, actually, considering I win my first race and come back on top. So, it's, yeah, pretty cool.
I don't know. Have you watched back the moment that Danny had, actually?
I did. Doug was running me through it, actually, because I was so concentrating on just trying to keep it out in front. I kind of ignored everything that was going on behind, and foot to the floor. But Doug was running me through it with everything that happened with Jordan and then Danny. So a bit unfortunate with Danny. I know exactly that curve. Like it happened to me in practice, and I knew from practice, stay clear of that curb. And I think he just kind of went over the wrong side of it.
So, well, the math that we kind of figured out, again, this is barring that this isn't a drop round for Danny, because I'm not 100% sure what his drop round is at this stage. I'll be honest with you, without checking a Sim Racer Hub type thing where it tracks it. If it's not, you've gained 66 points on him. He had gained, 8 positions worth in race 1, so that was 16 points. So it was up to from 28 to 44 at the end of race 1. But then obviously gaining 66 in race 2, that then puts you 22 points adrift of him leading into the final round. That's without this being a drop round for Danny, of course. If it is, couldn't even tell you. Couldn't tell you. To be honest with you, no idea.
I guess we're gonna find out very shortly. To be honest,
we will.
We know how to use the
Actually,
math.
Mid Ohio might be his drop round, so that would be the caveat. If he's done worse at Mid Ohio, then you'd be pretty golden on that being the ticket. But then compounded with that, Doug's also gained on him too, and he's right there with him. So he had lost only a couple less points than you in race 1. Mind you, he was already 60 points back. So it's going to be fairly tight at the front, which means there's going to be a little bit more pressure on you. But do you feel now, if this is a scenario going to Suzuka next week where you lead by 22 points, you only need to finish within, if it's 4 points per position, it's 5. If you only need to finish within 5 positions of him, does that take the pressure off, or does that put more pressure on you, do you think?
It's a good question. I guess it's not something that I think I just want to go out and just do my best anyway, regardless of where I finish in front or behind him. I mean, Danny's super quick, and as is Doug. So, and then you can't rule out Dylan DeBono either. So, like, there's a lot of quick people here, and at the end of the day, I think it's just really run my own race. And look, wherever I finish at the end of the day. And if it's in front of Danny, if it's behind Danny, hopefully not too far behind, then it's just really just do what I can at the end of the day. So, yeah, I mean, look, I kind of it was a bit fortunate, but also unfortunate because that race won because I reckon I had some good pace, especially in that sprint race, and I was just super unlucky that I think it was Jamie that sort of bounced off the wall and just directly into my rear wheel. Which broke my suspension.
We mentioned the fact that yourself and Danny have probably been as consistent as each other all season, but you've been the more unlucky driver. I think you've been caught up in other people's incidents more than he has, and I think you've both probably been caught up in your own incident as much as each other, and that's really been the X factor thus far.
I think that's probably correct. I've had some really unlucky mishaps this season.
Yeah,
I mean, even last season too, but. I feel like more last season, but yeah, there's some strange things going on with this season.
Yeah, for sure. But it may play out in your favour just yet. So we'll see how it goes there. But I believe this does lock you into the AWN in a couple of weeks' time. I'm pretty sure it's 2 weeks after the final round, so about 3 weeks from tonight. So hopefully you can be out there to represent us in that one too. But it's been an incredible run all season from yourself. It's going to be an incredible end to this season for yourself as well. Pretty much aim for top 5 and you should win the title if the math stands and it's a drop round at Mid-Ohio for Danny Davidson and not tonight. Other than that, do some calcs, see what it needs to be, and then, I don't know, try and aim for it, I guess. Who knows? It might play out in your favour, but...
I mean, based on my results this year, I mean, I've generally been in the top 5, top 6 anyway, so that's kind of where I just need to be, and where I need to just keep plugging away and keep going, so...
Exactly.
We'll just keep going. Yeah,
that's it. That's all you can do. Jack, is there anything you want to quickly chat to Giuliano about or ask him before we let him go tonight?
We've seen in the chat week in, week out that you're one of the most popular drivers among the chat. So how does it feel to be essentially the people's champ of the SRW SFLs this season?
Honestly, really, really grateful, to be honest. I didn't think that was going to happen, but
I've some very aggressive commenters with you, Giuliano, I must say. Very. To start with, they tested my patience, but I think we found a middle ground now at this point. I think we found an understanding with each other at this point.
I am sorry.
It's okay.
But I'm grateful that there's the support following me, and really, really grateful. But at the same time, it's like I can't do this without, because I also was part of my own league that we used to run, but now it's kind of just our own team that's called ARC, Atomic Racing Group. It's community, sorry, and which we just renamed. So I had some people helping me in that race, especially. They weren't usually in the race, just sort of helping me out with like fuel and stuff like that. But nobody had Miami actually. This was a completely new circuit, so I'm actually really grateful, like between the followers on YouTube for you guys, on your channel, and then just really grateful for everyone that's sort of helped me in the chat, just keeping me focused. So, just super, super grateful.
Yeah, I mean, we're of course we're grateful that they're getting into the chat with us and they're watching along too. It obviously gives us something to talk about each week as well, and it's great to have them out there, know that they're watching along with us, and that there are supporters out there for the drivers, because without the viewers, we haven't got anything. So we're obviously grateful for everyone out there watching along with us, but also those who do get engaged in the chat or who comment post stream as well. It's absolutely phenomenal. But Giuliano, it's been a mega season for you. The flip of the coins, Lady Luck's finally gone your way. So congratulations on that front. Congratulations on a great season run. Best of luck at Suzuka next week. We look forward to seeing how you go, and we'll see. Maybe we'll talk to you at this time next week and you're a champion.
Thanks so much, Hamish. Thanks, Jack, as well, for everything you guys have done, running this, the commentating on running through this on every night or every Wednesday night. So it's been great. And honestly, we'll see how we go next week. We just go into it the same mentality, same attitude, and we just do what we can.
Yeah, that's all you can do. But best of luck. We look forward to seeing how you go, and enjoy the preparations over the next week.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy your night.
Thank you. You too. Well, Jack Oz, how quick 8 weeks goes by, and how quick we get to the final round, and how quick things can change on their head. You come into this round thinking one thing, you leave it thinking another. It's MOZA Racing Super Formula Championship. It's what happens.
Yeah, exactly right. And how spicy is it now going into the last round, as we were talking about, I believe, at the start of the broadcast, of how easy it is that your race can go from great to not so great in the blink of an eye. And I'm excited for next week and see what happens and who comes out on top.
I'm excited too. I think it's going to be one of the best finales we've ever had in the Super Formula Championship / Stellara F3s here in SRWTV. You guys do not want to miss it. So be sure to hit the like button, to subscribe, the bell icon as well. You guys want to be here for Suzuka next week. It's going to be a massive end to our season. How does it line up for those other classes? The pros separated by merely a whisper. The Pro-Am separated by merely a whisper. And for Josh King in the AM class, he just needs to show up and finish the race, and he should be the AM champion. Then for those drivers who are hopeful to get into the AWN as well, battling their way into the top 20 of the championship is going to be a massive fight. It's going to be a massive test for them too. Coming up tomorrow night for the Shannon's Insurance Toyota G86 Nationals, we have got VIR North Course coming your way. James Parfitt, Stephen Singovich in the booth once again for that one. We will not be here this Sunday night as there is no Warren Brown Tools V8 Supercars Championship round happening as a bye week for that one. So tomorrow will be the last time you see us before round 9 commences next week. Big shout out though to all of our series sponsors, including our title sponsors, Warren Brown Tools, for their support of the Tuesday night V8 Supercars Series, the Sunday night V8 Supercars Championship, and as well to MOZA Racing for coming on board and supporting the Wednesday night Super Formula Championship, and to Shannon's Insurance for their support of the Thursday Toyota GR86 Nationals, and as well to our other series sponsors, Shunt Scenery, Grim Industries, home of the V8 Coffee Table, which can be found on Prime Video's Top Gear Australia during the news, interviews, and other studio segments. And as well to Phoenix Driver Development. Send a message over to PDD on Facebook or get in contact with Laz or Rehan Leonage on Discord, and they'll be sure to help you guys set up with either a session for training, if that's what you're after, or even some setups too for the Australian Gen 3 Supercars. You can find direct links in the video description for all of our series sponsors if you want to try and support them. They support the series, so by supporting them, you're helping support us as well, so we much appreciate it. But I've been Hamish Munro with Jack Anderson alongside. Appreciate your time, appreciate you being here with us once again, but until next time, stay safe, drive hard. How's the championship going to end? Got to watch next week to find out, but until then, bye for now.
This is amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tanak